Speaking of Canada.
Oh,
nailed it. I went to Canada. I nailed the transition and then just completely stumbled. So I was in Montreal on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at Ubisoft Montreal seeing Watch Dogs.
Ooh.
So it turns out, that game still exists.
Yep.
And in fact, it still exists to the point where it's coming out May 27th.
Whoa.
On 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, and PC.
Okay.
Wii U is TBD, future game.
Maybe
TBD, maybe future game. Hopefully it exists. But so we sort of we got to sit down with all the guys. They told us, they really just earnestly explained why the game got delayed. The 6 months, they said it was content complete, ready for last November, but they just weren't quite happy with it. They thought that it wasn't a great experience yet. That I think the way they described it was that all the bricks were there, but like none of the caulk on the house was.
Right. Everything wasn't awesome.
Everything wasn't awesome, and so they
see bricks.
I know that worked. That was really good. That was really good.
See how it worked?
God,
I'm with you.
I'll show myself out. But it was nice to hear that sort of honesty. And they said they've been making sure that the world is dense as opposed to just huge, making sure that mechanically all the sort of strange hacking elements work 100% of the time as opposed to just being a bit fidgety, and just really adding another 10 layers of polish, which I got about an hour hands-on with the game, and honestly, I really dug my time with it.
I will say I read your preview today and on IGN, which I obviously would encourage anybody to do. And it got me re-excited for that game because it's not. I was super excited, just like everybody else, almost 2 years ago now.
Wow, really?
When it was unveiled at E3 2012.
Yeah,
and hype level stayed up, and then it kind of just got to the point where it's like, this needs to come out now. I need to just go with this. And then it got delayed, and I've kind of, not that I have any doubts or hard feelings against the game, but I've just my hype level is gone.
Seriously, I mean, games have almost a certain window. You open that window once the game gets announced, and then it's slowly closing. It's just at some point, it's just like, all right, I've thought enough about you. At some point, I will play you, but until then, I just don't care.
I think actually South Park suffered from a similar thing.
Absolutely,
the big difference with South Park, I think, though, was the reason people were still ended up being really excited about it this week and the last couple weeks. Is Matt and Trey revealed almost nothing about that game during the time it was sort of in development hell.
Yeah.
Whereas Watch Dogs has had a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, it seems like it's had a preview event of some sorts every 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, so you've seen it multiple times.
Yeah.
Especially in the last year.
Yep.
You saw it again recently. Is it like a noticeable difference?
Honestly,
obviously, they're not making big changes. It's like detail stuff. But do you notice, that wasn't there before?
No, but this was the first time I got to actually play the game. Really? So I never got to play the game before. It was always hands-off demos. I saw it demoed live.
Yeah, but I think only E3 judges have gotten to play it before.
Rich played it.
Yeah.
All right. In Germany, maybe?
I stand corrected.
Something like that, yeah. They've had a couple, very loosely. You can play this long and only in this area.
Yeah. But, I mean, sort of the crux of my preview was that the game, yes, it is very much it's built from the same formula that GTA 3 founded, which a lot of games nowadays are. I brought up the Batman games and Assassin's Creed, and obviously, things like Sleeping Dogs and anything like that. But and when it's doing that, when it's just the sort of same A to B mission structure, get a car, meander across the city, find your mission. It's good. It's nothing revolutionary, but it's a competent GTA. I don't want to say clone, but a competent game in the same vein as GTA.
Sure.
But when it does things differently is when it's incredibly interesting. When, the fact that every citizen of Chicago, you can hack their phone and you learn a little bit about them. And it's all, they said, you can play the game for 200 hours and you'll never encounter the same person twice. And I'm
going to get the Chicago Pokedex. I'm going to find every single one.
That's all of them.
Yep. Found them.
What if people move, though?
Oh, man.
You can only find them in the first hour because then they move.
Because they're packing their stuff.
Do they have Chicago accents?
They actually did go to Chicago to record everything.
Nice,
and they would write, they said they would refer to the lakefront as the waterfront. And then as soon as these guys started recording dialogue, they're like, no, that's the lakefront. That's not the waterfront. I think that was Canadian. I don't know what accent that was.
I'm
also from Chicago, which is the weird. I choked up, but I couldn't actually do it. And so, it's just everyone in this town has this backstory. And so you're hacking a guy, and the guy all of a sudden I was going to rob him, and a thing popped up and said he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and I'm like, well, Jesus, I'm not going to rob you now. And then the next person, it was a lady, and I.
What if you did though? How bad a person?
So there's a morality meter, and
oh wow,
I'm sure there's also a morality meter in like real life, where if you robbed that character, all of a sudden above your head in real life,
karma knocks you down.
Yeah,
I'm only gonna mug like the unfortunate people in that game. You're really successful. Later,
you're anti-Batman.
You're fine.
You're negative Batman.
I have a problem where when games sort of are structured to allow me to be bad and sort of track my badness,
you want to maximize it.
Yes, I have a hard time resisting. KOTOR is the ultimate classic, because that was really one of the first major games that actually, I won't say encouraged or rewarded, but actively supported an evil lifestyle.
Yeah.
Most games kind of just let you be evil and that's it. This one is like, all right, we have stuff here for you.
Yeah.
I went so far to the left on the meter, and on the dark side, light side meter, and I had an awesome time.
And because everyone's like, I want to shoot lightning out of my fingertips.
Right. You couldn't just double cross people in KOTOR. You could triple cross people. You could double cross the guy that you just double crossed. So I
got you again.
I think we're back at point 8.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to resist
just being the worst.
Murdering the cancer victim.
I'm just apologizing for it in advance. That's all I'm going to say.
It's all right.
That's amazing.
I'm going to find out you should Tyler and be like, listen, you live a posh life. You're good to go. Carry on, miss. Enjoy.
Wait a minute. This person's below the poverty line? Let's get him.
Don't ask me for training. Bah, bah, bah.
God, it's got dark. This is like a deep dive into our psyches. This is like a little bit of therapy.
It's a little too much get to know your locksmith right here.
Yeah, I want to hear some Rust stories.
Get to know. Oh, jeez. Miss is just like drinking whiskey, smoking a cigarette. He's like, you have no idea.
Didn't you run around in that game with your wiener out, just beating on people?
Yeah.
See,
and then you got home, and then you played Rust. Watch Dogs. Yeah. So there's that element. I got in a police chase, and normally in GTA, you just you find a paint spray, or you just strong arm your way out of the chase by driving as fast as you can, hiding around the corner. In this, the whole, the thing about Watch Dogs is that you have full control over the city of Chicago. And so I had 3 cars on my tail. I zoomed right through a stoplight and immediately changed all the lights to green. And then when I looked behind me, one of the cop cars just got slammed. Just got T-boned because everyone was going through the intersection.
None of that is ever scripted, which is kind of
amazing. None of it's scripted. It's all dynamic. And then same thing. I turned down an alley, and then at the end of the alley, I see that these police barricades can be raised or lowered, like that. Probably like 3-foot high barricades.
Yeah, we've seen that in the E3 demos.
Exactly. But getting through, just turning that corner and then raising the barricade, and you get the slow motion sort of porn shot of the car getting nailed.
I've always wondered.
That was grosser than I thought it was going to be, even though I called it a slow motion porn shot.
This is a dark segment. That's all I'm going to say.
I've always wondered with that particular mechanic. Is that a timed thing? Like, do you have to nail it, or do you just say, I'm going to do that, and Aiden takes care of it when the time is right?
No, you have to. So it's
so you can screw yourself.
You can absolutely screw yourself. Okay. You can hit it because it's soft locks on the closest thing that you can interact with, and then with the button you can choose to interact with it whenever you want. So I can, you can get yourself in the middle of a massive collision by hitting it right.
That's good because like in GTA it can be really annoying to drive and shoot at the same time trying to aim.
Yep.
That's kind of nice.
The question is easier in real life.
Well, knowing bad guy Ryan, who we just met in this episode.
When you got a DeLorean with glowing doors, you just open that bad boy up and you got a clear shot. So the real question, Marty, about control over Chicago is, can you hack Chicago so that the Cubs win? That's the real question.
I think that would be like the most expensive DLC ever, because it's just the thing that came. Or they tried to program it and they just couldn't. They just could not find the algorithm.
No answer. The computer just had like a Y2K meltdown and was like, nope.
The guy's like, he has his notes down. He's like, I finally cracked it. He gets in the morning and there's just a billy goat eating all the paper.
Steve Bartman sitting there with a hat.
He's like, was this your paper? Spilled coffee all over it.
Sorry. Did you get a chance to see the 360 version, though?
No. So I only played the PS4 version. I was promised that the Xbox One version, had parity with it.
Is it going to be 1080p? Or are we going to see it? Are we going to get it all?
So that stuff, I don't know. I didn't ask that. That's stuff I don't care about, which got us in trouble the other week. But I don't know. I just don't care about that.
The kids want to know because there aren't enough games to talk about. Right? We need to talk about resolution instead.
But so today, a lot of people were complaining about the trailer that got released, saying that the game does not look that good. But everything I played was fine. Like, I didn't notice anything. Whatever GIF is going around, I don't know what that's from, but like, the game looks great.
I agree. And I've kind of noticed that with this new generation of stuff, seeing it, because we went from last generation, the 360 generation, where screenshots didn't really do stuff justice anymore. You kind of needed to see videos.
Yeah, Gears was not. It was kind of unremarkable in screens. You're like, oh, this is okay, but in motion, you were like,
but now, especially with a smaller jump from 360 to Xbox One, you almost need to, like, a video conveys it, but like a YouTube video, like you were there. You saw
played the
it
game for an hour.
In your face.
Yeah, and I was like, this looks great. Yeah, I'm fine. It's not like the best looking thing ever, but it looks great. It's fun.
I mean, an Infamous trailer or a gameplay video or the live stream we did today, like, looks really good. But when you play it and see it in front of you, it's
super nice.
Yeah, there's almost a thing that, like, looks like the way it feels aids in how it looks. Yeah, when you're playing it.
Totally.
But I had a really good time. I'm still not 100% sold on the story of the game because we don't really know what the story is. I know
really
that
think that was their big problem.
Aiden did something in the past that ended up his niece died because of something he did, and now something is coming back to haunt him.
Did he hack her pharmacy and accidentally give her like the wrong prescription and she died? That would be bad.
That'd be really dumb.
I'm sure that's the answer.
I don't know what it is, but we'll see. May 27th. We'll have there's going to be a big preview event.
So it's out May 27th.
May 27th.
Yeah, it's got a date now.
And there's going to be a big preview event in April, so we'll be playing it again.
Oh, excellent. I'm going to look forward to that. Yeah, so, May is, I think it feels like about every year except, I don't even know if, maybe not this past year, 2013. May has the last several years in general been a pretty big month. Like, there's usually some big games that hit in May, because once June hits, people are like, no.
Yeah.
Well, except for that one dev that always releases during E3.
Yeah, that was Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a notable exception,
yeah, right.
I suppose.
What was it? What was 2 years ago? When did Mass Effect come out?
Mass Effect's always been
like
March or January.
Okay.
Mass Effect 2 was January. Mass Effect 3 was March. Right. But like Alan Wake came out in May. Red Dead Redemption came out in May.
Enslaved was
didn't GTA 4 come out in May?
GTA 4 was the
April 28th.
Very end of April. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, you're like Rain Man. Yeah.
Or maybe April 8th.
No, it was
like Metal Gear.
You had it right the first time.
I think Metal Gear might have been April 8th. I don't know if that's Tuesday.
All right.